Content warnings for this talk include mentions of discrimination against queer people, mentions of domestic violence, mentions of suicide. Your safety and your comfort matter. If these are topics you'd rather not encounter today, that's fine. Instead, check out the large library of EUphoria's TTRPG actual plays, panels, and talks. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Euphoria. This is a TTRPG community designed to uplift and showcase the amazing, diverse talent that is here throughout Europe. And it is Pride Month. And part of Pride Month is also just existing as queer people, but also making sure that we're spreading our attention, our funds, if you have them as well, and our eyes to other queer TTRPG creatives based all across Europe. And I have an incredible joy to be joined by a hopefully a new friend here. But before I let him take the floor, let me give a quick self introduction. My name is Aida. My pronouns are she and her. I am a Latina queer woman of color. I am based in the Netherlands. I am pansexual. It's Pride Month. I'm pansexual. I have tan skin, dark eyes, dark wavy hair, and I am wearing a top that says love in many rainbow colors. Friend, who are you?
Hello, my name is Paco. My pronouns are he and him, although you can use any pronoun with me because I don't really mind. I am a 53-year-old gay man of Roma descendancy who lives right now in Barcelona. I have no hair pretty much over my head. I have a bushy gray beard with a spiky mustache, and I'm wearing a t-shirt that was designed by my friend Anya with somebody in a mask. It's a Venus of Milo with a kink mask. And she designed that for me. I don't know why.
I I love that. That is amazing. And I got to know who you are a bit, Paco, because once upon a time, Euphoria said, "Hey, we want to know about more queer games from Europe," and you emailed us. You commented on our Blue Sky, and
Did.
now we can make like that collab a reality. Now the time is ripe, and it's like, yes, let's make time for each other. Um, you run GMS Magazine, a website about role playing games, board games, and the people who make them. You do video podcasts with the creators, stakeholders, reviews so the community knows what games to consider. But there's also talks about the process behind them. Um,
Mhm.
how did you start that? How long have you been doing it? I know the answer, but the audience don't.
Oh my God. I started doing my blog in 2010 because it was the explosion of WordPress when it came out. And I just wanted to spread the word. TTRPGs and board games make me happy, and I thought maybe people will be interested, and perhaps somebody else will be happy. And then I heard somebody doing interviews in a podcast, and arrogantly enough, I said, I think I can do better than this. So I thought it would also be a very good excuse to get together with some of my heroes and see if they will be willing to talk to me. And it worked. It worked very well because I have a background in psychotherapy and systemic approach. I was training how to ask questions, so I was able to do that. And in 2011, the podcast began, and it grew, and it was absolutely wonderful. And we did interviews, and then I had the podcast where me and my friends just talked about role-playing games and board games, and then we did the podcast in which we did reviews, on our first play board games, and it was an absolutely wonderful thing that I have been trying to keep up, although life gets in the way, as much as possible.
Yeah, unfortunately, we need life to fund our games. And people say, like, work the hobby you love. But I will also push back and say, if you make your hobby your only work, sometimes you muddle the line and you don't love it as much. So the balance is hard, is what I'm trying to say, I think. But game's good.
It is, and yeah, but we also need to keep in mind another thing, and I know this because I have been an RPG publisher, and I can assure everyone the process of publishing your game, it is as fun as it is not profitable. It is very difficult to make money and make a living out of publishing role-playing games. The people who do it, even Kickstarters who make a shit ton of money, it is very hard to continue that. So if you want to publish your game, I always tell people do it because you love your game, because you love doing it, and because you love the community, and not because you love money.
Absolutely. And this is absolutely, we're part of a community. We have a very active Discord. We're active with friends on socials. We are a very collected group of nerds. We just get feral for each other. Someone says, I wrote a game for the first time. And everyone jumps in to say, let me see it. Let me see it. Can I see it? Oh, can I give you art? Oh, what about this? Oh, I played it. It was great. Or maybe this needs work, but we do it for the love.
Mm.
Speaking
Yeah,
of which,
that's the one. Yeah.
I
Mhm.
was gonna ask, what is your TTRPG origin story? What did you start playing? What are you playing
Ooh.
now?
Now, well, that is a very interesting question. When did I start? Um, I started on Dungeons and Dragons
Mhm.
when Dragons of Autumn Twilight was published in Spain for the first time in
Mm,
1985, and literally saved my life. It was a very dark time, and it, it arrived fortuitously in my home by accident. Literally days after I tried to kill myself for the first time, and reading that book made me want to continue one day after the next to see what happened, and it stopped me from wanting to know to unalive myself. And after that, I got into playing when I finally made friends, playing role playing games in the late 80s, early 90s with like most people at the time started both Dungeons and Dragons and the Call of Cthulhu, who in Spain were the most published games
mhm.
out there. We didn't have a large pool of games like they used to in the United States at the time already. And then we tried everything that came into our hands. I played Vampire the Masquerade, some Spanish games that began to be published, like Superheroes Inc. or Aquelarre. We played more Call of Cthulhu. In Nomina Satanis, we loved. In Nomina Satanis was such a brutal game. Um, and I haven't stopped. I haven't stopped ever since. Right now, I am very focused on playing games from Free League
Mhm.
because they managed to do two things very well. One is the system, the Year Zero engine. It
Yep.
really speaks to me. I just love it. I used to play an awful lot of D20, and now it's like doesn't gel anymore. It just doesn't feel enough. The Year Zero engine, you can do so many things with it. It's absolutely beautiful. And Free League, they everything they do is okay. Viacen is incredible. I
Aston
love
is
Viacen. Is
amazing.
so
Alien
fantastic.
is one of
The
my
Alien game
favorite
is
games.
an
One of my favorite games. And Year Zero system means I can pick up a handful of 12d6s and go, is my chest going to like explode now? Let's find out.
love it. It's actually the game that I'm reading right now, so I can play Hadley's Last Hope, which it is an absolutely fantastic adventure. So that's kind of what I'm playing at the moment. I love horror games. And I play a lot of solitaire games.
Mhm.
Solo games are so invigorating, and they're so, I don't know what the word, expansion, mind-boggling, because they don't you are not stopped by the table around you. You
Yep.
really have no limits. You can be as over the top as you want because everything is in your head and no one's going to know it. So you can be wild. And I absolutely love that.
That's great to hear. And I'm also glad you sticked around, and TTRPGs they do a lot for us. They do a lot for me. They let me understand where my strengths are, who my real friends are, what my values were. Because for me, TTRPGs
Mhm.
is a space where we because we role play, we're vulnerable. We are exploring other identities, other values. We have more agency than we would in the real world. And now there's a time to make a decision about how our fantasy selves will affect the real world in reality. I can't take down the evil king, the dictator, the um I don't know, the evil eldritch entity here on Earth in this plane. But in the other worlds, I can, and that's cathartic as well.
Mhm.
It's also a sense of community. We had friends coming over, or I'm seeing them online, etc. And it's transformative for those that really, I think, understand that spark and give themselves to it.
I completely agree with you. And also, it provides with a very interesting frame of reference to know who can be safe or not.
Mm,
There's that's one thing I love about role playing games also, and is that when you talk about role playing games with people, depending on how they talk about the games they play, the characters they play, it's often that you think, yeah, you and I are not gonna gel.
mhm,
Let's
mhm.
let's not go there. And also about exploring oneself. When I was a teenager and Dark Sun came out,
Yeah.
um, we used to be very rebellious, and yeah, you want to be the baddie because bads are tough, booyah. And then you think, okay, so I'm going to play this wizard that doesn't care about the environment because I am going to be powerful and strong, and that's where I want to explore. And then you cast a spell, and then the GM describes how all nature, all animals around you perish in the most horrific way. And you think, I don't think I want to be that person. I thought I did. I thought I wanted to be this tough through wickedness. And I don't think I like it. And that realization that, you can be anything safely in the know that, okay, you can realize that this is not good. I think it's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah. And I think that absolutely comes from games where the people playing the table have that communication, have care for each
Mhm.
other's safety and well-being. It comes from the game designers, even though you mentioned a couple of titles that originally those game designers and their companies were not good people. I'm thinking Lovecraft, I'm thinking Gygax,
Mhm.
for example. Um,
Yep.
Foundations, different podcast, different episode. But oh, we could go for a while on those. But the
As
people
long
who
as you wish.
decided, oh, there's not enough time. Cerveza next time. But the people who take that core, transform it into something different or recreate it, make it better. I've seen a lot more COC games that don't use the insanity mechanic or reflavor it, rename it with intentional care. I also started with D&D 5e, um, but then after a while, I was like, let's try something else. Let's try Powered by the Apocalypse games. Oh, I like this more streamlined, less complicated character sheet spotlight. Oh, I do like the crunch of D20 games like Pathfinder and Starfinder. Oh, I love the stress mechanic in Alien and a lot of Free League games. Oh, I really like solo games because my brain goes at a certain speed that is hard for other people to understand. And instead of feeling bad about it back and forth, I just finished up writing a 40-page thing from this journaling TTRPG. And I didn't bother anyone. That feels great.
It is, I think, solo games, and I know that there are an awful lot of people
Yeah.
who think about the concept of solo game and think, "Oh, solo is not a role playing game." It's like,
Um,
just but I think they are so, and the ideas that are explored in some of those solo games are just like, how do you think about that? It's oh yeah,
it's amazing.
mind blown.
I'll type it out to you later, but I recently had I met at a convention a person called Finley Jinley, they he pronouns I believe, who has an academic degree master's in TTRPGs, solo TTRPGs, and makes a lot of solo TTRPGs that have this very introspected, guided, they look simplistic, like they're not long, thick tomes. I have those games too, so it's great for solo games, but Finley has this power to just like sort of emotionally get underneath you in
Mm.
one A4 that you did to yourself with some very well placed prompts. But also it is has a found as an academic foundation to it based on their studies. So
I need to look into that,
I will absolutely send you their details. Talk to them.
please.
Invite them for an interview on your channel and everything.
I shall. I will.
They're
I shall.
great.
I can tell you.
So we talked about TTRPGs, but it's also Pride Month. Let's make it gay. Um,
Yeah.
how do you personally combine TTRPG storytelling with your experience as a queer person? Are your tables explicitly gay? Are your PCs, the NPCs, the world? How does queerness exist, arrive in at your games or tables?
Well, firstly, um, with naturality,
Mm,
and with these, I mean that I just have it. That's it, and it's not an option. You know, whenever I play games, um, neurodivergence, disabilities, and queerness, those are three things that are always going to be present at one degree or another. Always. Because they're present everywhere. So why not in our world? So
mhm,
there will be gay NPCs, there will be lesbian NPCs, there will be people with neurodivergence. What I try to do, firstly, I am always very careful with not try to tell a story that is not mine to tell.
mhm, mhm.
So I would not interpret a lesbian NPC to the minute detail
Yeah.
because I'm not a lesbian. So I think that's not my story to tell. But I will have lesbians in there. There will be, women who are with other women. Um, I play more to the ethnicity because I'm from Roma descent. I play more to the neurodivergence because I'm autistic. So those are things I include. But for example, NPCs, some of them are always going to have some neurodivergent trait,
Mhm.
like the sense of injustice or hyper empathy or a hyper focus or a talk where people are fumbling their hands all the time or where they have a reaction to certain words. That will happen. NPCs may come onto some of the players, with different looks, and maybe they will talk to that player, to the character more often than they talk to the rest. Or even if they display any kind of behavior, the player characters display any behavior that is antithetical to queerness, they will be like, ignore completely and focus on the other players. So that's how I tend to include it in all my games, one way or another. I don't care where I am. I don't care if I am at a gaming club. I don't care if I am in public. I don't care if I am at home. I don't care if I'm invited someplace else. There will always be something more or less subtly that will say, yeah, there is some queerness here.
That's absolutely I'm happy that is the default for you. Recently, before we had like an online convention, we had a panel of people talking about their experiences with neurodivergency and designing games. And there was one question about, are your characters, your PCs neurodivergent? And I forget who answered, but it's like, yes, of course, because I don't know how to be neurotypical. So how could I roleplay that? Of course, all my characters are neurodivergent. I literally don't know how to otherwise. What was their answer? A paraphrase, of course.
Hmm,
So, as queer people, yeah, I think even before I understood or knew or accepted labels for myself, I was like, yeah, that person, I'm gonna flirt with the dragonborn. Sure, that seemed perfectly normal and okay. And
absolutely.
that's just one step in the journey of understanding who we are and also celebrating. Oh yeah, that's absolutely normal. That is the lesbian couple over there. It's absolutely normal that that hero, when they take off their knight metallic armor, that you see scars on their chest from top surgery. It's totally normal. Why not?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So basically, it's for you and for me, and I hope for more people. It can be. This is very simplistic. This is very simplistic, but put queerness in your table. You don't have to make it a trope. You don't have to go
Mhm.
more in detail than what your comfortableness. Um, Simple existing is sometimes its own celebration as well. Just knowing that they're in the forefront and they're in the background, they're the blacksmiths, etc. Just existing. and being a normal, accepted part, good and bad. Let's have evil queer people too.
Absolutely.
I think is why those roles are fantasy and why this plane has some catching up to do too.
Oh, with all this playing has a lot of
A
catching up to
lot.
do. But you know, one thing I found very interesting, and is that there are, I know there are an awful lot of people who will come up with excuses like, I play for escapism, so I don't want, real life situations in my game, so on and so forth. In my experience, even people who think that way, when you present a queer character or a queer situation, they don't really care. It is very rare that I have found a table where I come up with a gay character or a gay NPC, and they will go, "Oh, God, Papa, you have to be." No one really truly minds. They are used to it and they know it happens. They just protest because they can, but it's not as if they really are that opposed. I don't understand why there is so much resistance at something that when it happens, you're like, I don't mind. It's okay.
I'm I'm sure there are plenty of other cis het white all male tables for them to join. If I open up any other website or Twitch or YouTube, there are so many. Go there. And don't rain on our
Exactly.
joy and our love, and we're just playing games.
Exactly. If you really care that much, I mean, again, in my experience, it is very rare, but it's just a matter of saying, look, there is, it happened to me in a gaming club in Valencia. And I just have to say, that, look, there are other 5 tables with 5 or 6 players each over there. Why did you have to join here? You know my stance. You know me. I am not quiet about my queerness and the kind of games and what I think about this. I am very militant. Why did you join? Was it just to be disruptive? Was it because you wanted to try and now you're feeling uncomfortable? And if you don't want to be here, just go. Just go away. It was quite an interesting conversation.
Yeah, if I'm not saying we're here to necessarily educate everyone on how to be a good ally or a good person, not our job, but if it happens, line up for knighthood, please, because sometimes we just don't have the energy. We're allowed to exist and allowed to be
No,
happy.
that is very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Sometimes, when I see people arguing with other people,
Mhm.
especially online, I think you are going to go to a higher level of heaven than me because I I I know I would have really beheaded that person already.
Well, speaking of education or explaining or sharing existence, you actually created a game that when I've looked through it in the copy you shared with us very generously, well, the title is Closet, a gay awareness raising game for straight people.
Mhm. Yes,
And
I
yeah.
went full gay on that one. It was the idea for the game came. It was a kind of constellation alignment of
Mm,
things. The idea came after I read a book, an essay called Biopolítica del Armario, Closet Biopolitics by a Spanish author. And in that game, it explores the different types of closets that people go into and why they exist, what is their function. It is very revealing for a man who was in the closet for so long. It was very revealing to think, oh, yeah, that was my closet. And then keep reading the book. Wait, that was my closet too. And by the time I finished reading the game, this book, it was like, Jesus, I could fill up IKEA with the number of closets that I've been into all my life. This is ridiculous. So that was something that kept me going about closet. And then I read a solo journaling game as a psychotherapist. I specialized in perpetrators of domestic abuse. There's a game called Horse Girl.
Hmm.
Horse Girl is a brutal game about surviving a toxic relationship with the love of your life from the point of view of a woman. And when I read that book, I was, because it doesn't hold punches. It really is an absolutely harrowing experience where I think that an awful lot of men should go through and write that story and really go for it. And I thought, how about this? What if I made a game about what it's like to come out of the closet? Because so many people ask, "Oh, Paco, so how did you come out of the closet? How did you?" And he's like, "What do you mean? You mean when?" Because we come out of the closet all the time, and if you are at a certain age, coming out of the closet is different. Then I had a friend who came out of the closet at 63 and went through divorce. And I was trying to make a podcast called Vamos a Ser, We're Going to Be, where I was trying to celebrate the achievements from the queer community. And I chatted at the time with the president of who was the president of the It Gets Better Spain. So all those things coalesced. And It Gets Better needed a little bit of money because they weren't getting an awful lot of traction and they were having difficulties. And I wanted to do something to help them. And my friend, my friend Jose helped me see how different it is to come out from when I came out to my family in the late 90s in the south of Spain to now in a big city when you're 16. I thought, wait a second, there's a game here. What if people could write their experience, perceived experience, based on what my experience has been? And I thought, what if I use this system from Horse Girl, where I can create prompts
Hmm.
on situations that I have lived in?
Yeah,
Because I didn't want to make it anybody else's experience because again, they are not mine to tell. And I'm sure that there will be commonality with other gay people. And I thought, okay, so family wise, what have I experienced that could be a prompt?
yeah,
Work, school wise, what have I experienced that could tell a story of what it is like to be gay? And closet started. And then I thought, but what about different experiences in different places? It's very different
yeah,
to be gay in a big city where you're anonymous from being gay in a small village where everybody knows everyone. It's
absolutely.
very different to be gay and be in the closet in a place where religion is rampant compared with a place where religion is just one thing that happens and is not a big deal. What about in a country where we have certain rights and privileges that we have fought to obtain compared with countries where they still in the dawn of those of that fight or where things are getting worse? So I made some tables for trying to cater to as many scenarios as possible given the limitations of the format and the system. Um, and it was not for other gay people to go through this because we all every queer person has a coming out story. We have more or less all of us have come out to some people or other, and we have gone through the process of what it is like to go through that. And it I think the commonality is that it rarely is ever easy.
Yeah.
It might be easier for some people than to others, but there's always a sense of trepidation, a sense of uncertainty of how people are going to take it. And I think that straight people have no idea and no way of coming even close to what it is to have to go through that.
And
It is
your
very
experience
difficult because
specifically. Yeah.
it's tough. So I want this game to be for you, straight person. You have the safety of being a solo role playing game. No one needs to know what you write. No one needs to know what you think. No one needs to know if you finish or if you don't. No one needs to know how you feel. Just you. Go for it. And then I decided um, to include a mechanism to, the pride points and fear points,
Mhm.
to reflect that almost never coming out is a journey that leaves you without scars. At some point, you are going to face some homophobia, some queer phobia of sorts, to more or less degree, but you are going to be shut down. You are going to be, yeah, beaten down by the society around us. And you always carry that with you. No matter how much you accept yourself, how out you are, you always carry those. And even if society is so horrific that you are forced to remain in the closet for whatever reason, you always have your pride points. You always will have the moments when you were brave enough, when you were tough enough, when you were yourself enough, that you look back and think, this is the person I want to be.
That's
And
a
that is
beautiful
why it's a
point.
game for straight people.
That's a beautiful point. And you mentioned they have the safety of it being a solo game, safety of private. But in my head, they have the safety, air quotes, of also being
Mhm.
a straight person. Because
Yeah, it's the sorry.
I think you're alluding to that you're providing an experience, and the experience you provide through the game is a visceral one. There is no winning necessarily in this game. It's simply existing through the challenges and what you feel about it in the end. This is not a game you can sort of meta or complete. There's no completion in this game either at that sort of philosophical level. But if you are not gay, if you are not queer, and you're playing this game, I think you do an amazingly good job of like giving a small taste. And if that makes people nervous, scared, at any point they close the book and they go back to enjoying that specific privilege of not having to experience those on a daily basis, however frequent those problems, those issues, those feelings may arise. Uh, but if they're brave enough, curious enough to continue, it's not that they won't truly understand, but I think the empathy and just basic respect for did they need to go through this? Why are we putting them through this? Have I perpetuated behaviors that are this, or have I not stopped my own peers from treating someone else like this? Have I contributed to those environments directly or indirectly? It's not about necessarily us laying guilt or white privilege and all those things, but there are roles to play in understanding and sometimes offering a for them safe because you're in your own space playing a solo TTRPG on your own time and privacy should you wish to enter that mindset what TTRPGs let us do and learn something and maybe be touched by it, but maybe not have to actually experience it. You experience those things, I imagine. And
Totally.
if people watching this play the game, those things are heavy. They are
Mm,
visceral, heavy, dark. There are moments of joy because you mentioned the pride points as well, but one is always going to be coupled with the other.
yes, and I my hope with the game is it doesn't matter how far people go with it.
Mhm,
If somebody picks it up because they're curious, that's already something in their mind. I'm happy. If they go halfway there and they feel anything and they don't finish the story, I'm happy about that because they can explore that. They can go back to being, the straight self. Maybe they're going to talk to somebody about it. Maybe they're going to discuss it. Maybe they're just going to think about it.
mhm,
And if they finish, maybe they're going to think about it long and hard enough to get a more hating, empathy level. And I'm happy with that. happy about that. So it's the kind of thing that there's no negative side at going for a game like Closet. And I say Closet because this is the game that we're talking about.
Mm.
But there's no negative about going for a game like Horse Girl or Pirouette, where you're
Mhm.
exploring something that you have never experienced before, because just the spark of curiosity is a positive thing. So I think from that point of view, it's important. And it is also possible that people will see themselves reflected in the giving end of what's going on. Maybe they will see, there's a prompt of you find love for the first time. Will that person correspond to you? Will they not? Have they actually been the person that another gay guy at school fell in love with and they didn't correspond? Did they contribute to that in one way?
Exactly.
Have they seen that and not done anything about it? Maybe they have witnessed some of the situations that I described from a distance. Did they think about that at the time? Maybe this thing is like, oh, so that's why this guy, when I was in college, did that. Oh, that's why those people in the street do that. I just want this game to make people think about situations that otherwise they would never experience by themselves.
From your specific perspective, and I encourage everyone to check out that game. Links will be posted below, and let us know if you had this experience as well.
It
Um,
would be great to hear that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Just to switch it up a bit, because I finally have another Spanish speaker with me. Cuando estabas desarrollando el juego, la idea de hacer el
Mhm.
juego, nos contaste que leíste el libro y que te dio unos ciertos
Sí,
pensamientos, pero la idea de hacer el juego, ¿empezó a hacerlo en inglés o en español?
en inglés.
En inglés, de golpe.
Am, de golpe, sí. A ver, yo me pasé viviendo en Inglaterra
Ajá.
desde abril del año 97 hasta agosto del 2015. Mm, Por suerte o por desgracia, yo tengo un cerebro bastante extraño y soy muy disléxico. Tengo una discalculia considerable, es decir, que para mí leer y escribir no es la tarea más sencilla. Tengo que utilizar un
Cuesta.
montón de energía para
Ujú.
concentrarme, ¿vale? Pero por algún motivo los idiomas se me dan muy bien y el inglés se me da excepcionalmente bien. Y para mí escribir en inglés me cuesta menos que escribir en español. No sé
Ah,
por qué. Me cuesta
entonces,
menos. Quizás sea porque en inglés hay menos acentos, hay la V y la B, no hay, no sé por qué, pero me cuesta mucho menos escribir en inglés y pensar en inglés.
entonces de la gramática literalmente sale más fácil.
Mm.
Porque cuando hablo con otra gente que también desarrolla sus juegos, por ejemplo, yo estuve en Holanda, en Países Bajos aquí, y conozco gente que dijeron, tengo mi juego, es muy especial para mí, pero quiero venderlo. Y Holanda es un país pequeño, un mercado pequeño, y para tener más gente que conozco mi juego, tengo que hacerlo en inglés. ¿Eso fue una idea o solo inglés es más fácil para mí? Lo hago en inglés. Para que más conozca
No,
gente.
a ver, porque a ver, cuando hice el juego,
Ujú,
al principio pensé en publicarlo normal y corriente. Pero luego me dije, espérate un segundo, voy a hacer un Kickstarter
ujú,
y lo que saque del Kickstarter lo voy a regalar a It Gets Better, because necesitaban el dinero.
claro.
Entonces, por eso decidí hacerlo en inglés, pero conforme lo estaba haciendo en inglés, eh, Tomás, el presidente de It Gets Better aquí en España, empezó, ostras, Paco, pero es que podemos hacer tantas cosas con esto. Y yo dije, vale, pues hacemos una cosa. Yo lo traduzco
Ujú.
de gratis si haces la revisión y la edición de los textos, porque con mi dislexia yo me voy a equivocar,
Mm,
fijo, fijísimo. Así que si tú haces la revisión de los textos, yo lo traduzco, revisas, yo lo remaqueto y el libro es enteramente para ti, para
Sí,
que It Gets Better Spain pueda imprimirlo, pueda regalarlo, pueda venderlo, podéis hacer con el libro lo que queráis. Es una obra mía que os la regalo y os la cedo para que podáis explotarla como queráis. Y así fue. Pero hacer el Kickstarter en inglés fue una cuestión de alcance y de recuperar dinero para It Gets Better.
así siempre es. Estuvimos hablando en inglés porque es un idioma común. Hablamos varios idiomas entre los dos. Nuestra comunidad también habla bastantes, muchos idiomas por toda Europa. Siempre pensamos que sí, se puede en inglés todo, pero a veces es divertido. Para mí, de vez en cuando, oh sí, hablo español, debo hablar mejorar mi español. Yo nací y fui creída en Estados Unidos. Entonces, en mi cabeza, el idioma en que sueño, pienso es en inglés. Estoy en Holanda y el holandés está pésimo para mí. Entonces, cuando
Ya,
veo,
pues no es fácil, ¿eh?
eh, no hay espacio. Alemán, francés, no hay espacio. Pero cuando veo juegos que se ofrecen en varios idiomas, estoy pensando, ¿por qué hicieron así? ¿Para honrar el país de donde viene su idioma nativa? ¿Para buscar más gente, más clientes, más mercado? ¿Por qué será? ¿Por qué no es más fácil? También puede ser, porque me imagino la traducción y todo el desarrollo de la versión en español era después, no fue a la misma vez, no fue simultáneo. No.
No, eso vino después, cuando el juego ya estaba terminado
Mm.
y estábamos en medio del Kickstarter, fue cuando hice la traducción al español.
Pues, entonces, otro trabajo inmenso, conociendo que Kickstarters también son trabajos inmensos.
Sí, eso fue interesante.
Interesante es la manera diplomática de decirlo, sí. Eso sí,
Sí,
lo
hacer una campaña, hacer un crowdfunding es
harto.
tela. Sí,
Eso sí lo es, sí. Entonces, people can play closets in English and Spanish. That's a wonderful
absolutely, yeah.
service you've done for everyone. And,
Yeah, on in Greek.
oh,
With
wow.
my friends from Meeple on board, my friend Michael said, Paco, can I translate this into Greek and help a queer youth organization? Please be my guest. And if anybody hears this and they want to publish it in any other language, please let me know because I would be only so happy to let you do it. Just give the money to charity and do it. I don't care. I'm fine.
I hope people take you up on that offer because like we were saying, yes, English is the common language to us, and you happen to find it easier. But for other people who are multilingual, and it's another language is easier, if they can
Mhm.
understand the goals, the values, the journey that you want to take them through this game, and if we can facilitate that in a way that's more comfortable for them, if we have the means, let's do it.
Absolutely. And this game was never Closet was never an idea to make money. It never will be an idea to make money. In fact, I've ordered 20 copies, and those copies are going to be given away at my workplace. And I'm going to have a money box to tell people donate whatever you want for the book if you want. I don't care if you don't pay. I'm happy to pay for the printing. And all the money that goes there without even opening the money box is going to go to Lambda, which is the largest LGBTQIA plus organization here in Barcelona. And the money will be for them. This game was always about helping other people, not myself.
Thank you for all of that game, for the initiatives, and I hope I see an uptick in people playing this game. And
That would be
this,
great. And
yeah,
there's one more thing that I would like to
yeah,
happen with Closet that hasn't happened yet.
hmm
Closet has been written from a very personal perspective.
hmm
One, as I said, don't think it's my story to tell anybody else's story, but I would love to see Closet written by a lesbian, written by a pan, by a trans, by an intersex person, and see how those that intersectionality of different discriminations. Because as a cis white looking man, I have a number of privileges that even as a gay man I still have. I close my mouth and I don't suffer discrimination. Women don't have that. Trans women definitely don't have that. Intersex people, non-binary people, they may not have that either. I cannot write closet from those perspective. Having people writing closet from those perspective would be, and have one for every letter of the collective, that would be amazing. That would be wonderful.
That sounds like an interesting idea for a game jam, like a sort of mini
Mhm.
event where people get together and agree on parameters and say, okay, you have until this date, make a game, go. Who knows? Love to see that.
That
I'll
would be
definitely keep my
incredible. That would be
I'll
amazing.
keeping my ear out for that something like that happens. So definitely this Pride Month, everyone play closets. There are so many other queer games, games that are explicitly queer, and games for just games by queer creatives. We have. Are you familiar with Thirsty Sword Lesbians? I'm sure.
Oh yes.
Yep.
Mhm.
It's a game that explicitly like talks about the strength and joy and powerfulness of queer characters. There's games by Ray Najani who sort of explores not explicitly gay storylines, but underlying themes of belonging, who you are, which are absolutely explicitly tied to questions and concerns that affect the gay and queer community, but presented as you are monsters, you are looking for
Mhm.
acceptance, so sort of repackaged and everything. Do you have any examples or ideas like how gay games or gay representation of people or the ideas just make for better TTRPGs for anyone, whether you're gay or straight?
I think so because it adds a richness. You know, for example, in terms of examples would be for Blue Rose
Hmm.
by Steve Kenson, published by Green Ronin. Is a fantastic game because the way that they have it's a game about romantic fantasy, and Steve is again, he's also very militant within the queer community, um, and Green Ronin is probably one of the most queer friendly publishers out there. They are incredible. Um, and this game, the level of richness that having queer characters gives, because of the situations that you can be in, the nuance, it's it's incredible. I highly recommend people to take a look at it. And if I had a minute in
Yeah.
that shelf in there, where I have an awful lot of solo games, last year at Dragon Meet, I bought specifically um, five queer games that, because of my autism, I can't remember names. They just disappear in my head very quickly. But I have like 5 or 7 of those just in that shelf.
Did you like explicitly look for like a queer flag? Did you know the creators are queer in advance or?
I ask
Hmm.
in this particular the person. I mean, these games were queer. I mean, there's a game
Okay,
about
you know.
queer pirates, and the cover are two men kissing. So okay, that's
Sail the
queer.
Oceans, Sail the Oceans Queer
That's the one.
by Anya Laleon Publishing.
That I can remember. Yeah, one of my problems with my specific type of autism is that names completely disappear of my head. I remember um, images. I can
Mhm.
remember sentences, but names, even people, I
There,
may need to be
there.
introduced to the same person 4 or 5 times before I remember their names. It's embarrassing,
No,
but I'm used to it. I don't care.
happy to make your acquaintance multiple times. We have that happy experience more.
Yes,
But
it's
you
no. It
described
is.
the
I met the
cover, and I was
person.
like, you described the cover, and I was like, that sounds like Sail the Oceans Queer because there are like a light skinned and a dark skinned pirate, one and sort of leaning on each other, so
Hmm.
they're rigging, giving a kiss. There's another title with a very pirate, gay, clear theme on it called Spectral Seas, and that one is about um, I believe where someone has turned into a ghost and you're sort of trying to reconnect. And the story and the lines are also very queer. So on the cover, it's like, oh, there's a rainbow ocean on the sun setting. That's gay. That is so gay.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, if it was a dragon meat, I probably bought it because at the moment I saw that, I thought I said to the person, "Okay, do you have more queer games? Yeah, give them all of them to me. I don't care how much they cost, how many you have. Just give me one of each." So I think I came back with 5 or 7 of those.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. So it's also important if they don't know you, you don't know them, that they should like make your games queer. Or if your game isn't queer, let us know you are queer. Put a flag if you're
Mm,
comfortable doing so, because if you play closets, that might be a journey for some people still.
yes,
Yes,
I hope so.
absolutely.
That would be good.
That would be good. Um, yeah, we can go on for a very long time about the other topics we've mentioned too. Oh my gosh. But I
We
think this
could.
is a good point to maybe pause it for here. I want this to not be the first and last talk we have. I think we need to talk more often.
I like the sound of that, and I would be only so happy. Just let me know, and maybe you can come to my podcast too at some point, and we can have a two-way conversation.
Absolutely. Oh, we can get started. It's going to be a lot of fun. Paco, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for this chat. Thank you for your game. Thank you for your candidness. And thank you for just
Thank you.
being you. Some people will say like, "Oh, you're so brave." Like, thank you for existing and just
Thank you. Thank you
yeah.
very much. After all these years, I'm glad I'm still here.
I think a lot of us will be too. If you want to know
Thank you.
more about Paco, where should people find you? What socials, websites should they be following, bookmarking right now?
Well, the two main websites are, of course, gmsmagazine.com, which I've been, had for since 2010. Also try to keep up, fail miserably, with soplayweall.org, which is the board games website where I do all the mostly Asian and indie board games. Um, YouTube channels, go to GMS Magazine because I, gel them all in there. But I do my regular YouTube channel, and then I do the Free Leaguer where I cover free league games. Podcast, I have the GMS Magazine podcast, which is when I'm doing more interviews. Recently, I started Beyond Gaming with my friend Chris, where we're doing how to publish your role playing game and how to write your role playing game episodes. And I'm trying to be as regular as possible. Facebook, I know that not many people like it, but that's my social network where I live, most of my social network life, because I'm used to it. And I am on Blue Sky, where you can also find me, and I am trying to be more active in there. Um, I do TikTok from time to time, not as often as I should. I don't do Twitter anymore because when I do it as an automated system where I just put everything in Twitter automatically, but I never look at Twitter or reply to Twitter, so
Yep.
don't
Yep. It's gross there.
contact
We don't
me
like it there.
there. Um, and I have Instagram, but I don't have the stamina to use it. So Facebook and Blue Sky are the two networks of choice.
All right. So absolutely check Paco out. And you can follow us here at Euphoria. All the links for our socials and where to follow us are below, especially if you want to see more of this content of amazing TTRPG creators based all across Europe. And for Pride Month and for every day of the year, every year,
Mm,
queer ones too. Thank you so much, and we'll see you later. Bye.
thank you.